Hello, this is Carl and Tina with our pup Benny. Today's video is going to talk about our slow travel journeys through the city of Mexico City, Mexico. Spent about 16 days there and we're going to tell you all about our adventures. Are you ready? Let's go. Okay, so we decided to start our slow travel part 2 in Mexico City. So it just seemed like something very intriguing. It was never on the radar because it's not a coastal city, it's not a beach town, but it's a city with a metro population of over 22 million people, so that was intriguing. Also, we heard how friendly it is, how nice it is, how great the weather is. So we wanted to go check it out. So we decided to go stay in an area called La Condesa, and very expat friendly. And we're going to discuss the 7 things about that area, and it was a great 17 days we spent there.
So the first criteria is location. And when we visited Mexico City, we stayed in an area called La Condesa. And we had watched some YouTube videos before we decided to visit and did some research and found out that this is a good area to stay for expats. And it's an up-and-coming type area. It's, the location was perfect because we could walk everywhere, which we really like. We don't have to rent a car. We only got Grab a couple times. That was to go further out. We went and visited a mall there. But honestly, we walked everywhere. We walked to the store to get food. We walked to restaurants. Everything is very convenient right there. There's another area, Polanco and Roma Norte, that are close by too, all walkable distances. And so it was a great area to stay in. It was very close to a lot of parks. So we walked to the park, and honestly, you could probably spend the whole day there. One of the parks had a zoo in it, and there was a lot of monuments, arts, gardens that you could walk through, butterfly gardens. And we just spent a lot of time walking and just exploring the city. It was really great.
So the second topic we're going to discuss is transportation. We didn't use a lot of transportation besides our transportation from the airport to our Airbnb. Most of the time we walked, which was great because we had our dog, and so Mexico City is great for dogs. I think that was the biggest surprise out of everything, was just how much of a dog city Mexico City is. So, but everywhere we went, we walked. Every restaurant we wanted to go to, we could walk to it. There's only a couple times where we took an Uber, and it may have been because of weather, it may have been raining or something. But besides that, tons of restaurants within walking distance, 5 to 20 minutes of walking, and it was great. It was great. So we never used the subway, we never used the buses, but they were plentiful, but we could walk everywhere in that city where we wanted to go.
Yeah, and I'll tell a funny story about one of the times that we did have to use an Uber. Was that we took our dog to get groomed, and this is how nice the people are in Mexico City. Took our dog to get groomed. I walked back to pick up Benny, and it was starting to rain, and it was a hard rain. And the people at the dog grooming place there offered to give me a ride back to our Airbnb that we were staying in. I was always taken aback by their kindness and their generosity. Honestly, they didn't want the dog to get wet. They didn't want me to get wet. I declined because I was kind of shocked at the offer. And I got an Uber, and so that was good. But that's just how dog friendly the place is, how walkable it is. It's a great experience to stay in La Condesa.
Yeah, and I think they sent us a message the next day or later on that day saying that they would give him another bath the next day if he got messed up in the rain. So that was outstanding. That was great. And they didn't know us from the next stranger on the street,
So the next thing that we always consider is the food. Not only how easily can we access a restaurant that's close by walking, but what kind of food are they serving? We are pescatarian, so we don't eat a lot of meat. So we had a little bit of a challenge there in Mexico City because they do love their meats. Yes. But we did finally, about a week into our stay on our walks, we walked by a stand every single morning, and we finally got up enough nerve, learned enough Spanish to ask for a vegetarian taco, which honestly was pretty easy. And some of the people that were there, helped us, taught us how to say zucchini and squash in Spanish. And then, so we overcame like those obstacles of trying to eat the diet that we eat in a foreign country. And so it was a little bit of a challenge there, but they do have, if you're interested in American food, you can get, pizzas and burgers. There are restaurants there that cater to Western, I guess, food, but lots of Mexican food is absolutely delicious. So many choices. You just walk down the street and there's just too many choices.
Yeah, if you're a meat eater, it's your place. Street food is your place. All the street food vendors, they're making everything fresh that morning, chopping up the vegetables right there first thing in the morning, cooking up the meat right in front of you. I mean, it was great experience. That's what the locals do. They go to the local street vendor. The policia even congregated around certain street vendors and had their coffee and their breakfast, first thing in the morning. So, and it was also cheap. I think we bought those two street tacos, those veggie tacos, and I think it came up to, in US money, I think it came up to like $1.50 for two tacos.
Yeah.
And they were delicious.
They were very good. And another thing that we learned too is we saw this in Mexico City. We've also seen it in Thailand, is that there are vendors who have spent their time making lunches for people going to work. So I think they called them tortas. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the kind of a sandwich, and there's vendors along the side of the road who have made these sandwiches. So you would see downtown in the city, people walking to work, and they would stop at the stand and get a fresh made sandwich that looked absolutely delicious, and just kind of grab it, and it's very economical, looked really delicious, and then off to work they went. So I was like, boy, that would be awesome if we had that in America. Yeah. Super convenient. So those are some things that we saw that we hadn't seen where we're from.
Yep. And everything's super affordable on the street. You go to a restaurant, you get tourist pricing mostly, but still less than what we're used to, but not like the street vendors. If you really want to save a lot of money in Mexico City, hopefully you eat meat, and you can eat at the street taco stands, and it's so amazingly good and very affordable.
So the next category is entertainment. Mexico City has a lot going on. There's a lot to choose from every day. When you go outside, no matter what corner you turn on, there is something going on. In the parks, there's people doing dance lessons, there are festivals, there's people doing yoga. We saw some boxing going on, just a lot. For us, as far as entertainment, our entertainment was, taking walks with our dog, hanging out in the park, people watching. But at night, there's a lot of restaurants, a lot of music. The vibe in the city is so electric. There's a lot to do and a lot to partake in. So a lot to do.
Yeah, we noticed on the weekends, it got live, at night. And I think there was a place near us where the party kept going until about 4 in the morning. So if you're trying to party or be out, there's plenty of bars. You can go to an Irish pub, you can go a sports bar, anything you want, you can find in Mexico City within walking distance. So if you're all about entertainment and sports, concerts, art festivals, it was all there. It was fantastic. Next up is weather. So we looked up the weather for Mexico City, and we knew we were not going to a beach town. So because of its elevation, 7,400 feet above sea level, weather is pretty nice. It kind of reminded us of Southern California a little bit. So at night, it was in the upper 50s, but a comfortable upper 50s. And in the daytime, it was in the mid to upper 70s every day. with a little rain shower mixed in the later afternoon. So the weather was perfect. You think you needed a jacket, but the moment you started walking around with that jacket on, you had to come out of it quickly. Never quite warm enough, except for maybe a few hours for shorts for us. So we just wore jeans and a t-shirt like what I have on, and we were comfortable all day long. And it felt great at night. Opened the windows to the Airbnb, to the condo every night. Every morning since we woke up, open up all the windows, and it felt fantastic. It was a perfect climate if you're not looking for beach weather. It's a perfect climate all day.
Yes, I would definitely agree. We didn't have AC, right?
No AC.
No AC in our Airbnb, and honestly, it wasn't a problem. And we're from Florida, and so we were probably a little concerned because we always have AC 12 months out of the year, but it was not a problem. The weather was absolutely beautiful. It was perfect. It was very enjoyable. It was a nice relief from the hot weather that we come from. So we really enjoyed it. Yes.
Yeah, I think our dog, he loved it as well because he was never truly hot unless we were in the sun for too long. He was never truly hot, but weather, fantastic.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect.
So kind of going along with the weather is the altitude. Kind of need to talk about that if you're from a place like us, if you're from a beach town that's at sea level. Mexico City is 7,400 feet above sea level. So there are certain things that are gonna take place that you're not gonna be ready for. I guess the term used is altitude sickness, and you're gonna feel dizzy, nauseous, headache, fatigue. I was wondering why, and not being a meat eater what made it worse, because I guess kind of the ways you combat the altitude sickness is to eat more and stay hydrated. And that was tough for us because we weren't eating meat. So we had to eat more than we were, but we had to learn that the hard way. And so one day we just had to shut it down, go get into bed and get some rest because the altitude won. It's quite an adjustment, being that high up, so we know Denver, Colorado is like a mile high. Well, Mexico City is 2,000 feet higher than Denver. So that's just letting you know something. Yeah,
I think I was pretty shocked the effect it really did have on us. We're not people who typically get sick or are affected by climate and things like that. So, but the altitude sickness really took a toll on us. We spent one whole day literally just in bed, and I would say for myself, I never quite felt right the 17 days we were there. They say it takes about 30 days, even a few months, your body to totally get adjusted. So for us, we like to exercise. That was definitely out of the question. Even the walks that we went on during the day were lengthy. That kind of I think that's what put us over the edge, is that we were doing too much and our body was not ready for it. Yeah. So when they talk about it on sports, about that altitude sickness, and when teams go and play up there, it's a real thing. So just something to consider. Maybe prepare yourself for better than we did.
Yeah, definitely be ready for the altitude. If you're not from a place like that or a mountain town, get ready. It's different. Next topic is safety. You hear a lot, about how dangerous it's going to be going to Mexico City and Mexico in general. And I guess if you're living that criminal lifestyle, it could be. Or if you're near where they do criminality, I guess you would feel a little unsafe. But there was not one day in Mexico City where we felt unsafe. Not one day. I think the first or second night, I think you walked to the store by yourself.
Yeah,
about 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, the first night we got there, we had to get food for our dog, and Carl had a work meeting, so I had to venture out on my own. So found a pet store and went walking, and it started to get a little dark, and he called and was like, how do you feel? And I was like, I think instinctively, I was like, I probably shouldn't be out here alone at night, but I was looking around and everybody was just busy doing what they were doing, going to meet their friends for dinner, getting off work, going to the gym. And I was like, honestly, I'm fine. So I just carried on, went to the store and got the dog food. Nobody bothered me. And yeah, it was great. I felt perfectly safe to be there, to go out at night by myself. Everybody's super friendly, helpful. Everybody honestly is just minding their own business and going where they need to go. Nobody's rude. I had no incidences.
Yeah, that was the most amazing thing about Mexico City is that everybody speaks the greeting of the day. And more importantly, everybody just minds their business. No one's rude, everyone speaks, but other than that, they just mind their business. I've never seen anything like it. The police presence in Mexico City, be pretty hard to do crime in the areas where we were, and I'm pretty sure it was because it was a big time tourist area. And we're pretty close to the embassy, US Embassy, and a major shopping area, so we're pretty close to that. And the police presence was more than abundant. So I think that may be a reason why we all felt so safe. But there are just tons of expats. So yeah, I understand the safety aspect from the police, but we were never, not one day did we have any fear of or concern about our safety. It's probably one of the safest places, as far as how we felt. It's one of the safest places we've ever been since we've done this traveling.
Yeah.
Last but not least is dog friendliness. We had no idea a place like Mexico City existed for dogs. Without sounding like I'm being, like I'm exaggerating, it's by far the most dog-friendly place on earth that we've ever encountered. It's almost like if you didn't have a dog, you didn't belong. And it seemed like you needed to have more than one dog to truly fit in. It was the most dog-friendly place ever. Every restaurant, only place you couldn't really take your dogs is inside a lot of bakeries or grocery stores or places like that. But other than that, restaurants, the very first restaurant we went to had a nice courtyard, totally green, and allowed our dog. He came in and Benny just laid down at our table and just hung out. Most every restaurant has a dog bowl with water for your pet. This is the most incredible thing ever. Not to mention how green of a city it is. It's almost like they built this huge city around the trees, around nature. It's by far the most green city we've ever been to as far as nature. I mean, the reason why you never got too hot when it was warm during the day was because the trees, there's just tree cover everywhere, shade everywhere. But as far as dog friendliness, you have to experience it for yourself. If you're not a dog lover, it's definitely not a place for you. If you're a dog lover, it's where you want to be with your pup.
Yes, definitely. And another thing that was amazing is that a lot of the dogs are off leash with their owners. And that was incredible to us. We definitely, our dog needs to get with it a little bit. He needs some Mexico City training. But people were walking their dogs off leash and the dogs would just sniff around, maybe go up ahead of their owner, but they'd always come back. They really didn't interact with the other dogs too much. It was incredible to see that. The dog friendliness, the dogs off the leash, it definitely is a dog heaven. If you're a dog, get your owner to take you to Mexico City.
Yeah, your dog is begging you to take him to Mexico City, for sure. Okay, so we discussed about 7 things about our trip to Mexico City. I had a great time, spent 17 days there. Definitely will go back for sure and experience it again. And there's a lot of expats that actually retired there. We met quite a few people that have set up their homes there. That's where they live now, and we can kind of understand why. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful place, beautiful people. We'll definitely go back.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the biggest question. After running through all of these things, I think that says the most. Would you go back? Do you want to go back? And I would say yes, absolutely. I would love to go back.
Yeah, we'll definitely be back. All right, stay tuned. Make sure you follow the channel and subscribe to us. We have more to come.